Alright, it's one here at GetintheMix, BPM 2016 with Rob from Pioneer DJ.
Hello.
He's about to show us the new TORAIZ.
TORAIZ SP-16. So yeah, this is like a whole new ball game for Pioneer DJ in that it's crossing over into the production realm. So the way we've got it set up at the moment is kind of in like a studio-ish environment and a DJ setup environment as well. But this is a standalone production unit. So you can use this to create music as well as perform music on the fly and perform tracks that you might have created inside a DAW that you want to export out and play on this as well. So it's kind of, there's many ways of using this unit. I'll go break it down into sections and show you what it actually comprises of as well. So we've got these 16 RGB performance pads on here. Now I say performance pads, but they're actually stereo tracks in a production sense. Each of these pads allows you to load up 32 seconds of audio. So that can either be a drum, an effect, a one shot, you know, a very small slice of audio that you can trigger, like so, like different drums, or it can be loops. So you can have loops of up to 32 seconds as well. So as you can imagine, if you've got different drum sounds, you can program them in using the step sequencer at the bottom. So this is kind of inspired from the Roland, or even the old school units. But even if you look onto any kind of software step sequencer, it's the same thing. You've got 16 steps usually, sometimes 8 or 32. But these 16 steps allow you to, let's say I choose my kick, I can then highlight which steps I want the kick to be triggered on when I hit play. And it becomes, you know, it's the most intuitive way of laying down drums. It's very straightforward. This is 1 bar of music, but you can increase the length to 4 bars if you wanted to. So you can get really in depth with laying down your drum beats and make them a bit longer, obviously, so you can get the variation and the fills at the end of phrases. So these pads can be used in a number of ways, kind of like our controller series. At the minute, I've got them in track mode, but if I just run this, and we've got some audio running, I can jump into mute mode and mute out any pads I want to mute. So just get our kick running, just get our percussion running, or bring everything in once. Very straightforward. If I jump onto this little touch sensitive ribbon at the side, you can use this in 4 different ways as well. You can use it when you're recording audio to manipulate the pitch. You've got a repeat, like a no repeat section, so for live use, I'm actually going to hit one of these pads and it will jump out of mute mode, or actually just turn mute mode off. And I'm going to focus on the clap because you can hear that quite obviously. If I hold that down, you've got no repeat. It's not a new feature, like this feature's in other units, but it's very straightforward and very effective. I can also change the speed. And when you use it with the filter at the top, this is kind of the major coup that everyone's got nuts for, because this is an analog hardware filter that's been taken straight from the Dave Smith Prophet 6. So this is a partnership with Dave Smith that everyone's got nuts about. Analog filters sound amazing. We've got this analog drive on here, and the Prophet 6 is like a heritage, legacy synth that's been revamped over the years. You know, there's a new version of it, and this is the exact same filter circuitry from that. So I mean, it's not the best audio demo in here, but for live use, I'm trying to do it one-handed as well. But you've got high pass, low pass, resonance on the low pass, and then analog drive as well. So what I tend to do is using this big 7-inch colour screen, touch screen here, touch responsive screen. This will correspond with your 16 tracks. If I go into track mode, you can actually see what's been loaded into, let's say we choose this percussive sound. I can see on there that that's Fire Clap 8. Now, I'm going to jump into this menu. There's a lot to this unit. It's very deep. If you jump into each track's menu, as opposed to just triggering sounds, you can go into that track menu, and here in the playback menu, you might want to get a bit closer with the camera to see this. but you can actually see exactly what audio we're looking at. So I can see, let's turn hold off, let's turn repeat off. So I've got my percussive sound there, or my kick sound. You can see the WAV file, the waveform of each sound. Now you can manipulate the length of each sample as well. I'm going to press back and look at the amp envelope. Standard percussive. So I've got a really short amp envelope there. Let's bring this out. So that clap was originally quite long, but I've changed the hold on there. There's not ADSR, there's AHR, because there's no synthesis in this. It's just sample playback. So you don't need decay or sustain. All you need is a hold. And using these 6 pots here, I'm going to tighten that clap up. And you can do this all on the fly as well. If that's running, let's solo the clap, just the percussion. So while this is running, turn the drive up so you can hear it a bit better. Let's manipulate the release. And of course you can do this at the pitch at the same time, or with a send return effect as well. If I go back again, I can apply an effect to each stereo track, and at the moment there's only 4 effects to choose from. Chorus flanger, 2-band EQ and filter, and I mean they're the essentials. A 2-band EQ just so you can tailor the sound, so you can play your kicks with your bass lines, and so you can manipulate sounds so they're not just sounding raw when you're syncing them up with the CDJ, because this will read the BPM information from the CDJ as well, which is kind of another major coup. That is set up, yeah, so if I hit run on this track, I've got a track running over there on the CDJ. If I hit run on this, it would take, you'd want to leave it out for a couple of seconds, but bring it in now. It takes a second for it to sync up, but now that's synced. You know, it's everything I'm doing in my DJ set, I can, on the fly, start, I mean, one-handed is quite tricky, but if you want to get the filter on the mixer, you can, you know, it's really exciting this. And that's just triggering drum samples. I mean, that's to use this unit solely for that sounds amazing, but it's quite more extensive what you can do with it. Let's unmute everything else and show you the structure of the projects, show you how powerful that is as well. Each project, I've loaded up a project off my USB stick, which I created on a TORAIZ at home. So you don't need to take your TORAIZ with you, you can just work on your one at home, and if the club's got one of these, you can just take everything on a USB stick. Each project, if I open up scene and pattern, this is our scene manager, and you've also got these buttons here, scene and pattern. So this one project that I've loaded up can have 16 scenes. So at the minute, the ones that are illuminated in colour are the ones that have got sounds loaded in. Each of these can have a different different bank of 16 sounds. So essentially, you can have 16 tracks created on this. Each scene can have 16 patterns. So, for instance, if I jump to scene 1, and that's what we were just listening to, it then opens up my patterns and it reflects on here. Pattern 1. Hit play, it's very basic. But if I then choose pattern 3, it builds up, and I've created different patterns to build the track up as we go through. When you get to there you go, more percussion. The view I'm in now, if I turn pattern off, you're seeing the drum sequencer. This is your pattern view. So you can hear, like when we jump to 9. They're all different patterns, and then these ones at the end are different patterns with crashes at the start. So it's really in depth. It's almost limitless when you start jumping into seeing different scenes. you can hear we got completely different sounds. The track just changed on the CDJ, that's why there was a little pause there, yeah. Jump into this. It's a really exciting product, man. So a lot of these are just ideas that have been knocked up in this project that you can then take and import into Ableton and either finish them off or into Logic or finish them off. Or you can just work vice versa, like I said earlier. If we look at the back of this unit, you've got eight mono outs, 4 stereo outs. So you can run into a mixing desk quite easily. You can send each stereo track to a different output. You know, you've got 8 outputs to choose from. So if you wanted to, you could run this into one channel of the mixer, this into like channels 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the mixer, and just work with this. And then maybe have 2. You kind of treat it like a CDJ. It is very extensive, not expensive, very extensive. It retails, I mean, prices vary, so depending if you're watching this video in 2 years' time, but this at the moment at launch is retailing at 1,250, 1,249. But there's a million ways of making music. You can use anything. You can just use a laptop if you want to. But the workflow on this is without a doubt the easiest thing I've ever used. And I'm not, you know, as an accomplished producer as Dorley or Youssef, or you know, Reva Star, but we're getting people like that saying the exact same thing. And the fact that there's no laptop in the chain is amazing. The fact you can do it so like on the fly in a live environment with no laptop is worth its weight in gold, really. But yeah, get yourself down to GetintheMix and get a demo in store, because it really is a product I believe in. It's a very strong product.
Oh, you heard it, guys. You get yourself down to GetintheMix and get your film on, innit? See you later.
Sweet.